Hi, I'm Amy Glass, your moderator, and this is the first of what we hope will be a series of regular communication with you to usher all of us through a transition. This transition begins with Pastor Nathan's departure, and it continues until we have secured a final and settled pastor for our congregation. Howard and I are committed to regular, clear communication with you through whatever means are available to us, including video, the eSpire, email, and also to be available to take your calls if that's helpful to you. As your moderator and moderator-elect, we don't yet have solutions to every single step of this process. We know a lot, we have a timeline, and we are going to fill in details as we move along. We want to encourage all of you to pray and ask for understanding and trust that God has a plan for Nathan and his family, and also God has a plan for us. We have everything we need. Bear with us as we walk through the steps. I'll now turn it over to Howard.
We understand and share many of your feelings that this, it is a sad time, and we want to be sensitive to the emotions of people are expressing and feeling. We would encourage you to reach out to us or your deacon to talk through your feelings if you feel comfortable doing that. The UCC regional leadership is shepherding us through this process, and I want to share some of their advice on managing these highly emotional times. Reach out to those in the congregation you feel close to and talk about how you feel. Avoid seeing change as insurmountable and work toward accepting that change is just part of living. Keep an optimistic outlook and expect good things to come from this change. Take care of yourself and others in the congregation. Pray for Nathan, his family, our congregation, our moderators and leaders in the church.
We've begun to map out the 4 phases of this transition that we need to work through between now and the time when we can secure a senior pastor. The visual, which you'll see now, depicts 4 different stages, but let's focus on first, phase 1. As you can see, the phase 1 has 2 parts. We as a church need to focus on 2 parallel sets of activities. The first is all about Nathan's departure. A planning team is hard at work planning and organizing a heartfelt farewell celebration of Nathan and his family and the time that we've shared together. Our ceremonial farewell will be an outdoor church service in Brunson Park at 10 a.m. on May 2. We hope most members will gather for this exceptional service to honor Nathan. The second parallel part is in phase 1, focuses on the search for an intentional interim pastor. An intentional interim is someone who has received special training to serve many roles. These individuals have been trained in guiding congregations to search for a new permanent pastor, while they also work through letting go of their preceding pastor. The council is specifically tasked with the search for the intentional interim. The 4 necessary steps for completing this process have begun, and they include, first, partnering with our UCC regional leadership to help guide our interim search. Second, creating a church profile and posting it on UCC national listings. We will then, and I've already started, commissioning a group of 5 to 7 council members to include the moderator and the moderator-elect, and to serve as the search committee for this intentional interim. Reviewing and interviewing candidates and making a final recommendation to the council for their approval is the last step of this search. We can say a lot about the sequence of events and less about how much time it will actually take, because the timing depends on how each step goes. We do know that Nathan's last day with us is May 2. We don't expect to have an interim in place until probably June. Some dates are known and some will be known very soon, and we'll share that with you as soon as we're able. We have lots of pulpit talent familiar faces that will be in the pulpit delivering sermons to you in this interim time. We feel very confident that we can manage very well with our staff and these resources until we have secured a permanent pastor. And now I'll turn it over to Howard.
Thank you, Amy. We don't have all the details nailed down for phases 2 through 4, but let's quickly review where we are headed. As you can see in the second phase, we will contract with an individual to be our intentional interim. As the moderator-elect, I will be assigned the role of guiding and working alongside the interim, along with the interim search team, to get them oriented. Soon after we have this person settled, we will work with the interim to define a process for our searching and calling a settled new pastor. In phase 3, we will create a search committee from the congregation tasked with lots of listening, reviews, interviews, surveys. In phase 4, we will call a settled pastor and vote, and there will be a transition period where we say goodbye to the interim. As Amy shared, the timeline is vague, but as we narrow in on the details and the timing, we will share them. This is meant to give all members in the congregation a high-level overview of where we are headed. You can see that we are working diligently to create a fully transparent transition plan.
Remember, at every stage, we have everything we need, and God is walking with us through every step. If along the way you have questions or concerns, Howard and I want you to contact us or contact your deacon or contact each other and give support and lean whenever that's necessary. We can't address your concerns if we don't know what they are, although we are listening carefully to you along the way. Please continue to pray for Howard and for me and for the rest of the leadership. And also we will all join together praying for Nathan and his family as we make our way through this process. Thank you for listening.